I'm just going to spend a couple of minutes and just try and sort of summarise today, because I think it's important to sort of go back to the beginning really and just remind ourselves what we're trying to do here, and if you like, our narrative of the day really. I think it's quite important. And all I'd say is that, you know, it was quite phenomenal today. We've had some amazing speakers, amazing sound bites throughout the day. I mean, it's been quite extraordinary really, and there's obviously too much to summarise here. But I think if we go back to the very beginning, I think I'd say that, you know, not surprisingly, we would probably argue that the need for EffWeek and everything we stand for is great. I mean, you might remember at the beginning I talked about the FT research, and that FT research basically said that CEOs in the C-suite felt they were responsible for marketing, long-term marketing and brand building, but they basically didn't know necessarily how to do it. And so the concept, if you like, of going from the CEO's to-do list to the how-to-do list is very much really what we've been trying to do today. And so in terms of reimagining creativity and effectiveness for this digital age, we kind of said to ourselves, when we started looking at the context, and we heard, if you remember, from Claire in the UK, Vivica, really fascinating stuff from China, a different perspective about this kind of new retail, this OMO concept. And then we heard, from Neil from the US perspective, of tech-enabled brands. We then kind of set our scene and said there are 4 pillars, if you like, that we feel are necessary for success in terms of reimagining creativity and effectiveness for this age we live in. And the first was behave like a 21st century brand. And, you know, Sue ran the panel there, Cheryl, Abba and Ollie, if you might, the sort of disruptive brands, the Eves, the Habitats of this world. And interestingly, a lot of the points they made was it was very much a balance. You know, it very much was a balance of the fundamentals about understanding purpose and brand at the same time as the need for agility. And so there were sort of lessons that we came out with there. Then we moved on to decide based on evidence. There's a lot of talk, and Luke has talked a lot about different new forms of real-time data that we should take account of. And then, you know, Les talked a lot about experimentation, which I think is a really important area in terms of making sure that you can reconcile these different conflicting attribution versus a different form of econometrics. I mean, which is right, as he said, and it does require maybe more experimentation to take place. And then we talked about living the learning. We talked about culture. Tom's section there, we heard fascinating talk from Kelly from the FA about women's football with Tim, talking about building a grassroots culture there, which was fantastic. Huawei, Adidas. And a lot of the sort of sense that came out of that, really, I think, was around collaboration, those sort of little things that Tom talked about, and that ability to create those cultures from the bottom up. And then lastly, of course, we come to creativity and creating the magic. And, you know, extraordinary piece from Orlando. Thank you very much again, Orlando. And then from Mark Commode, or Mark Lamar, or whatever his name was, who was extraordinary as well, actually. And then again, thanks very much, Kate, bringing Carol in, bringing Simon in around creating the magic. And again, collaboration for me very much came out of that. This kind of new way of working, community-driven, having lots of stimulus for creativity. And of course, those 4 pillars for us are really, really important. And we're not saying one's more important than the others. But I think that it's probably fair to say that the last one is the last one, partly for a reason, because I think that there is a crisis of creativity. There is a need to protect creativity. It is the most fragile of everything. It is the magic. It is the alchemy. It is the potion. It is the bravery, as Ian talked about before. And in fact, I noticed some Forrester research recently. I don't know whether you've seen it. It was launched at Cannes. And this is Forrester is saying, and not what I'm saying, but they said basically that marketeers need to redirect a significant portion of their MarTech spending to marketing creativity in order to more effectively build their brands. By reallocating $19 billion from tech budgets to agency creativity over 6 years, they believe the industry can drive greater growth, which is amazing. I mean, even if it's just a percentage of that, it's interesting that they take that position. Now, one of the points that Sue made earlier on was, you know, this world is not binary, and it is very much not the tyranny of or, if you like. It's the fraternity of and, if you call it. It's tech and creativity. It's long and short. It's mass and personalized. So, you know, it's very important to recognize it's not all about one or the other. But, and it is, you know, I think Orlando was saying left and right brain, you know, they work in different ways, but they're both important. But definitely, let's not forget the awesome power of creativity, and I think we do that at our peril. So, that's really those pillars are important to us, and they're all equally important, but creating the magic, maybe a tiny bit more important than the others. It's certainly one that really needs a lot of protection at a time when it's under pressure. So that's my sort of summary of the day, and it's been fantastic. And I want to just finish by reminding everyone of a few things that are coming up. I think it's on my next slide here. Yeah, so this is, if everyone remembers, the Thought Leadership Day in a long week rather, of satellite events. We've got 14 events running by 16 agencies as well as our partners. We're launching the IPA Effectiveness Awards for 2020 this week at MediaCom. We've got the Screening a Divided Brain, the Gilchrist film that Orlando talked about, Strategic Bootcamp, Applied Behavioural Economics course. And also upstairs, if anyone wants to know about the new effectiveness accreditation, which we've launched this year, as well as effectiveness qualifications, the IPA team upstairs can help on that. And all the learning, of course, is available on EffWeek. And in your goodie bag, there's some Google research, there's LinkedIn research, and a very, very low-cost version of the Lemon book is upstairs for you to buy, an amazingly discounted rate. Normally £1,000, I think. Orlando's knocked it down to, a very small amount of money. So I just want to say thanks again for everyone today. I mean, there's been an amazing amount of speakers. I'm sorry a couple of times we've had to rush things slightly. I'm sorry we haven't done as many questions as we'd like to have done because we were just trying to get through everything. Luckily, Mark Commode was on time. The only person who was, but I was very impressed by that. I want to thank our sponsors again. I want to thank our advisory board, all the different people, Janet, Catherine, the team at the IPA. It's been a fantastic day. I hope there's lots that's come out of it. Hope there's insights, actions that you'll take back to your day job. Now, we'd love any feedback, please, on the app, because we want to make it even better next year. Make sure that we're always current. Make sure that we're always looking ahead. We have got drinks upstairs. Go until 7 o'clock. So there's a glass of wine as well. And as I say, you can always buy Orlando's book. He'll be pushing it at you if you don't. So thanks very much again. Really appreciate everyone listening. Thanks for coming. Thank you.